There it is. November 4th. We've got a new update from Call of Duty. Patch Notes just dropped a couple of minutes ago. Improved stability when interacting with the message of the day. Huge upgrades. Improved stability when sending voice communications. Completion display will now properly appear when completing prestige challenges in both multiplayer and zombies. Addressed an issue where Bailey wasn't holding the intended pistol. Okay, it doesn't matter. Maps. Nuketown is now available in private matches. That's kind of cool. Addressed an issue where players spawned in when joining a session in progress instead of spectating before selecting a loadout. Yes, we saw ourselves in kill cams before selecting a loadout. This was a bug. If you joined a game mid-game, you essentially would just die, so you'd start the game with a death, which was so much fun. They also improved stability in infected game mode. I haven't even played that yet. Spawns. This has been one of the biggest complaints from everybody that I have seen on this game. General spawn logic tuning across several maps have improved spawning. Spawn tuning will be an ongoing process of taking data, reviewing gameplay, and making measurable adjustments in live environment. Our number one goal is to always provide the safest spawn that we can across all maps and modes. This is a little different for how they've been treating, for example, domination this year. If you have a CB dom cap and they're spawning at A, you can run all the way into A with nobody back at C. You can run into A, and you will still spawn. You'll just spawn together. If you're on the team capping them, you could be in their spawn, and enemies will just spawn right next to you. Same thing even like on Babylon. That A spawn point inside that little cave, you can get locked. It was like that in the beta, as a matter of fact. But you can get spawn trapped in there and just keep on getting slammed over and over again. And it seemed like it was more map control dependent. Well, it will flip eventually in domination if you go and stand on the flag. A couple people will spawn the other side, but it'll still split spawn. So some will spawn here, some will spawn there until it's a full. And each of the modes is different, whatever. It seemed like that was more intentional, at least for that game. Some of the other ones, though, the spawn traps are crazy. So if this is truly the priority, yeah, they definitely have some work to go. Or is it to lock them in? Because we've had that before in Call of Duties. I remember in Black Ops 1, Demolition, if you remember that mode, absolutely spawn trapping the hell out of people. So we'll see how that goes. Loadouts. Addressed an issue where players would automatically equip their previously used loadout when joining matches already in progress. Addressed an issue where players would die at initial spawn when selecting their loadouts. So they didn't even fix the main problem with loadouts then. Sick. Love it. Game's still busted. Okay, well, basically, if you try and change your loadout mid-game, it doesn't work. The menus are ass mid-game, especially in Search and Destroy. It's terrible. I'm hoping they talk about Search and Destroy and how terrible the XP gain is in there, and they fix some of the problems with the XP gain on it. It's been an awesome seeing players discover and share their favorite weapon builds during the first week of launch. Every day we monitor both player feedback and game data to keep tabs on how the weapon meta is evolving and prepare for the comprehensive tuning pass in Season 1. So we are going to be getting a big tuning pass in Season 1. My loadouts don't display any text at all. Liberty Falls patched their delay after the white screen now. Yeah, the God mode glitch. We've seen discussions about the I haven't read anything about zombies yet. We've seen discussions about the relative balance of assault rifles and submachine guns. We are making some early general changes to adjust their effective ranges. For ARs, we are pulling the minimum damage ranges and lessening the impact of headshots at close range. Ooh. SMGs are receiving damage range increase to improve their mid-range effect. They're giving a huge buff to SMGs then. SMG's about to become the meta.
Skull, hey Stone, how you doing?
Mike,
GRTZ
fantastic,
from
man.
the Netherlands.
We got some updates. This is interesting. This is good to see. So the XM4, well, let's see. The damage range was decreased. The damage was decreased, but the range was increased. Am I reading this correctly? So pre-patch, yep. Whoa, the range was only to 7 meters? So that actually was true, that close range damage. Because the close damage range fall-off thing, I didn't think that was actually even real. It didn't make sense to me. Medium damage, okay, so this is the maximum damage range, but the medium damage range, I think it's the same amount of bullets. I'm not sure on this. I see. So this is the medium damage range, and here's the minimum damage range. It's all the way out to 40 meters. AK. Wow, the AK is getting nerfed. I haven't tried the AK yet. So this is just across the board. Aims, dude, the aims already was feeling a little weak to me. But they're drastically increasing this minimum range. So hold on, or the medium range. So let me see. So right now, yeah, the damage was 22 at close range, and it was 21 in the mid. So that's why it felt so similar. It was barely any damage drop-off. Look at this. Before, it would be 22 damage from the 0 to 7 range, and then from 7 to 45, it was 21 damage. It was almost the exact same between the two. Now, it's just going to be that 21 all the way out to 16 meters, which isn't quite as far as the 45 meters. And then the damage drop-off will happen here. And 15 meters is not that far. This is quite a big buff to submachine guns, especially for how close range a lot of these fights are. This is actually quite extreme, though. Hold on. Wait a second. That's just the XM4. The AK holds its damage all the way out to 38 meters. That is quite good. But it's still the same damage profile as what it was before, out to 41. So technically, this is still a nerf to the AK as well. They're decreasing the damage from that point-blank range, but even if you're going out to that, the second damage range, the medium damage range one of 27 damage, out to 42 meters, it's now technically going to be less. It's only going to go out to 38 meters, which isn't a considerable nerf, 2 meters range decrease, where it's going to hold that 27 damage. This weapon will only have a maximum and minimum damage range, so it's not even have a middle range. It just drops after that. It's going to drop to 22 damage. I'm not going to go through every single one of these. Quite a strong decrease to the damage of the Model L close range, but that's going to be tough. That's going to be a little tough. You're going to start getting some more deaths close range. Did you prestige yet, Stone, though? I did. I'll show you in a second. Mike, thank you again for the 500. Shout out to the Netherlands. So then they buffed the submachine guns. Before, they had 29 damage, 0 to 13 meters range. They buffed this by 0.5 meters, which is almost nothing. This by about a meter. Very, very minor buff. I think the bigger buff is coming from the nerf to the assault rifles. It's not going to be super drastic, though. I think they're saving the more drastic shifts, if any, for what they were discussing in the update for Season 1. Last week, we fixed an issue with the shotgun slugs, but we are still working on an additional issue causing the attachment to perform better in hipfire than intended. Slugs are meant to offer an alternative playstyle for shotguns that trade close quarters effectiveness for range and precision. If you saw us when we played Search and Destroy with Handler, he was abusing the hell out of this. I did end up leveling my shotgun. I did not get the chance to actually try this, but yeah, essentially slugs are adios. Perks. Oh, wait a second. Recon Combat Specialty. So this is the blue perks. Reduce the duration that enemies are highlighted after spawning to 1.5 seconds from 2 seconds. An additional reduction will be coming in Season 1. Resolved an issue that allowed players to activate Recon Combat Specialty by changing loadouts. This is such a small nerf. I don't think this is going to make people happy. There was a massive outcry of people that hate this blue perk, especially in the hardcore mode where people spawn and they just start walling the hell out of you. I don't think this is going to suffice. Absolutely hate the Tanto. I can't use it to save my life. It's really hard to use, especially on mouse, I've found. I don't think it's going to be a significant difference here for it either. We can look up that one in particular later if you want. Dispatcher increased the Dispatcher perk score cost for UAVs from 500 to 550 and counter UAVs from 550 to 600. They've nerfed this. So right now, everybody is running Dispatcher to farm XP. I was talking about this earlier. They just nerfed it. One other note, if you're running decoys to try and farm XP, this was in the patch notes last week, decoys give you 0 XP. If you are using decoys to get XP, you are giving other people free XP. I've been running into this in games. People are using decoys, and I just shoot them and I get 75 XP being a green perk user. You get 0. It says you get score points. You still do get the score streak, but it does not give you any XP. They are doing that on purpose to avoid you from throwing those everywhere this year, because that's what people do every single year. They just throw decoys everywhere, and it makes the gameplay ass. As we head into Season 1, we are continuing to observe data and feedback for perks and combat specialties in multiplayer. Currently, Enforcer is the most popular. That's the red perks. Right? Oh, wait, no. Is that green? Strategist is green. Yeah, Enforcer's red. That's because that'll give you the highest, like, kill potential. And that's what you need for... If you want to level up weapons, you need to kill with your gun. So doing Enforcer with, like, the weapon specialists for the extra attachments is probably the best way to level your weapons in Team Deathmatch or something. It's not just about the data, though, as your feedback is a critical part of how we approach tuning of the game. With that said, we are making some spot adjustments today as we continue to take a holistic approach to our perks and combat specialties moving forwards. Flashbang. Reduce the flashbang tactical screen effect duration by 20%. Nice. Increased health of UAV and counter UAV. Really? That's actually that's good with the increase to the health. I shoot these things down immediately. Increase the initial explosion radius of napalm strike. Nice. I've been loving that one. Reduce the initial entry delay for the LDBR. Increase the fly-in speed of the strategic bomber. I haven't used that one yet outside of a care package one time. Reduce the score cost for the interceptors from 1250 to 1150. This thing is complete garbage, if I'm not mistaken. I think the interceptors are probably the worst thing in the world, but I don't know yet. Adjusted the stance change cooldown to reduce effectiveness of repeated prone and standing actions. Wait. Oh, shoot. Enough snaking. They nerfed movement. Adjusted the stance change cooldown. I got to see this. Let me see if I can feel it. It feels fine here. We're going to go into zombies, and we're going to see what it looks like in third person. Because it might just not do the full animation. But I could still snake pretty easily there. That's you go prone and stand up really quick to drive people crazy and to just peek quickly. They didn't change anything for snaking. It didn't look like it there. It didn't look like it at all. XP earn rates, adjusted player XP and weapon XP. Oh, hold on. Wait a second. They did another change to this. They did this last week. They're doing another one. Adjusted players and weapon XP earn rates for most modes to ensure that players are being rewarded for their match performance as expected whenever they play. These changes include increased weapon XP earn rates for most modes. That's because most modes, you don't get XP for playing the objective. I tweeted this last week. They need to make it so you get XP for playing the objective. It would solve almost everything. Right now, you only get XP for getting kills or if you shoot down flying objects. So if you shoot down the UAVs, counter UAVs, that is a good way to get levels for your guns as well. Increased player XP earn rates for the following modes of Team Deathmatch, Control. I haven't even played Control. Search and Destroy. Please tell me it is true. It needed to be a significant buff for Search and Destroy. It was so slow. I played this for 3 days. You get no XP in there. It is so sad. Gunfight as well. Apparently they buffed it. They said they did this before, though. You know? It's like, what are we talking about? They're doing it again. It's so bad, dude. It's like, this is such a more skilled mode. You should be rewarded in playing it. If you play Search and Destroy and you can get 15 kills a game, you should be massively rewarded for that, in my opinion. Slight decrease to player XP and weapon XP earned in face-off modes. That is actually, I think, for the best. I know a lot of people are going to be probably mad about that, but in my opinion, you need to make it so that the game is actually fun. I want to be able to play the modes that are fun and not have to go play hardcore face-off all day and hate this game. I absolutely hate it. It's not fun. The fact that they even put these strike maps in the game are just so sad to me. Like, I get it if you actually enjoy it, sure, but if it needs to be the main way that you play the game to level up and to level up your weapons, it is so dead and so sad. If you got more XP from playing Search and Destroy, if you got, let's say, every time you got a headshot in Search and Destroy, that was worth 10 headshots for your challenges. Do you think people would be grinding in face-off all day? Or do you think they would go start playing Search and Destroy? The main reason, I've been saying this for years, it's one of the reasons I haven't even done these XP grinds and done these things for so long, or even the camos. I don't do the camos. Is the way you play the game in order to do them sucks ass. It is not fun. And so I've just been in TDM enjoying my time playing the game, playing Search and Destroy with my buddies, having fun in the game, not leveling anything up. until this weekend. I was grinding Nuketown. That's where the stem of all of this conversation and all my lessons over the last couple days have come. It is playing Nuketown all day. Do I want to play Nuketown all day? No, but it is the best way because you get into more actions per minute. You get into more fights per minute. That's why the small maps are better. That's why people play those. It's not because it's more fun, though. In my personal opinion, it's not because it's more fun, but it's because you get more XP by doing so. I will continue to rant about that forever. That's just how it is. Nuketown is more fun. I will say I have been having fun with Nuketown. I did not like it at first. I've gotten used to the map now. I am liking it more. I'll show you some of the stuff that I've been doing on that later today when we get to the multiplayer segment of the stream. Challenges. Addressed an issue where players were able to complete the nuke challenges while dying. What the F? Appropriate perks will now display when viewing the featured playlist. The featured player during the best play. Gunsmith. We are investigating an issue where any equipped optic attachment is removed when entering the gunsmith in the main menu. There are so many problems with gunsmith. It's kind of mind-blowing to me. Players will now not notice this issue if entering the gunsmith during a match. Players can equip optic attachments, but will need to re-equip them anytime they enter the gunsmith in a main menu to adjust attachments or customizations. There's so many problems, I don't even want to list them all. But I have had so many problems with the gunsmith. I don't think this covers all of it. I would still expect to have problems with the gunsmith when you're changing your loadouts, and especially trying to doing it in game. UI. Gobblegum names will now properly update when switching between their tabs. And that's the end of the update today. So a pretty significant change to the playstyle and XP earn rates, as well as a little bit of movement changes. They're doing a lot for just I should say, it not being a major season change. Usually they do their bigger changes on the season change.